So I was taking a look at some of my Kentucky files, and I noticed that Metcalfe County, Kentucky, has a 24% poverty rate, poverty line. 24% of all the residents of Metcalfe County, which is a population of 10,099, are below the poverty line, and 97% of them are white. So that's, you know, I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing, Metcalfe County, Kentucky? What are you doing in order to help your poor people out? I mean, it seems like there's a lot of talk about cutting benefits, but if they're not getting benefits, what are you going to do for them? What are you going to do for poor people if you're able to watch this? A lot of poor people don't have the internet, don't have running water, let alone internet. But if you're watching this, you know, you have to do something for yourself. The Republicans are acting like the corporations are going to come in here and save us all. And they are not. We're going to be the sweatshops. You know, you got a bunch of yuppies sitting there protesting Bangladesh sweatshops, but we have sweatshops that's going to be coming into Kentucky if one of these 4 Republican candidates who is overtly declaring class war against the middle class, poor and homeless classes of people, the 99%. They are saying, yes, we are loyal to the 1%. We want the corporations to come in here and fuck all the rest of y'all. And it's the Republican primary, so that means only, you know what, 3%? They only need 3% of Kentucky's population to decide upon the primary. So, in order to get their candidate chosen. So you're only going to have a very small margin of people that's that's going to decide. And that's, you know, that's for the Republican side. You also have Jeff Young for the Democrats. So, Metcalfe County. Something fascinating. Edmonton. It's not that fascinating, but it's sort of interesting. It was just named after a guy named Edmund Rogers, and so it was Edmontown, but Edmonton, so it's just like you know, it's a Kentucky tradition of just fucking the name up, just, you know, beyond all recognition. Edmonton, Edmondstown, Edmonton. There's several things that we do. Madrid, Versailles, Louisville. I don't even know how. I remember I used to mispronounce it intentionally and be like, this is how you say it. And now I've been making fun of it so much, I don't even have a way to say Louisville. I think it's just Louisville. But I used to, sometimes just to be a dick, I would be like Louisville. You know, it's not even Louisville. Yeah, that's how it is, Louisville. It's like Louisville, but Louisville. Louisville. Loulavul. Louisville. So Louisville. What? Louisville? Where the hell did you come up with the Louis? What? King Louis the 16th? No, it's King Louis the 16th. Okay. Louisville. So Versailles is Versailles, okay, Versailles, Madrid, and Edmonton. There's actually a city in Breckinridge County. It's called Axtell, small city on the southern west end. And Axtell is what it's called, and the way they got the name was because the first post office, you know, postmaster, he didn't have a name for the town, and so he wrote to the state saying, I wrote to ax you if you could tell, with only one L, me what the name of the city was. So, and it's weird, you know, again, with sort of the inverted racism, Axtell, this has been white people. A white guy, postmaster, said, I wanted to ask you a question, and if you would tell with only one L, and they said, well, fuck it, we'll name it Axtell, you know, because you can't write, you dumb illiterate son of a bitch. And so Axtell is a city today in Breckinridge County. So I don't hate that. Edmonton, whatever. 32% poor in Edmonton, and Edmonton's pretty 1,600 population. So, you know, that's 1 out of every 3. 1 out of every 3 people in Edmonton is poor. Nothing wrong with being poor. Like, you know, keep your pride and stuff. But know where you are in the socioeconomic scale. So you want a social capitalist to be your governor. You want a person who will defend social programs that we all need in order to survive, but at the same time also, try to entice corporations to come and set up shop, while meanwhile setting up entrepreneurships and setting up us, we the regular people, as best as we can. There's government programs, but past that, you got to compete. You got to go hustle. So how do you hustle best? Yeah, you can get a good job if there's a good corporation. If there's no good corporation, no good jobs, you got to make the good jobs. You got to make your own corporation. Incorporate yourself. Start a media business. Start, some sort of grocery store or restaurant. The business. You buy low, sell high. And you try to, maximize your profits. It's a fool's game. You give the people what they want, right? And you make money. So that's, I think a social capitalist strikes a good balance between those two conflicting forces, those two economic theories. One, socialism forgets the individual, and capitalism forgets the society. So we just need a synthesis between the two. It's not that hard, really. We got, socialist salt trucks. You want to get rid of the schools and the roads. And while I have that anarchist streak in me, let's just say, no, let's have no government. I think it's virtually impossible to get away from the state. And, the United States is a jurisdiction, so we'd have to compete with. Anyways, so that's a social capitalist that's what we live in now. We live in a mixed system now, so I think a social capitalist would actually be we're talking honestly about what kind of governors we have. So, Metcalfe County, I feel for you. I want you all to, this is me reaching out. This is me just saying hello, and, I like you. I do like some of your city names. You have some cool city names. Summer Shade and Wisdom. Let's go to Wisdom. I think it's really good. Summer Shade. And actually, there's some tidbits about those. I want to mention two more things. It's named after Thomas Metcalfe, and I got something about him. But it's a dry county. Metcalfe County is a dry county. It's one of the southern states on the bottom of Kentucky. Metcalfe County is right next to Clinton County. Both of them are about 10,000, population of about 10,000. So Edmonton, right, is the capital of Metcalfe County, and it's right on the bottom next bordering Tennessee. And it's a dry county. There's about 50 counties of 120 that are still dry counties, meaning that alcohol is illegal. They still have continued prohibition in these Kentucky counties. Alcohol is evil. It's the devil. And they're actually kind of right. I would prefer to live in a county that had alcohol illegal and cannabis legal. That is a lesser drug that only makes you eat too many Doritos, fall asleep, at 8 p.m. instead of, late at night, versus wanting to get into fights, go get in your car, drinking and driving, running into people, beat your wife, just start fights, random fights at the bar, right? For no apparent reason. So, yes, I would much rather have a society of cannabis lovers than a society of a bunch of drunks. And so, since, alcohol is one of the worst fucking drugs out there. And so the contradiction doesn't make any sense. It's the fact that, there's 50 counties. You're living in the Stone Age. Whereas I do say cannabis is our liberation and alcohol is our downfall. It's the fact that you cannot drink Budweiser. If you buy Budweiser in Metcalfe County, if you have enough alcohol in your car, it looks like you have the intent to distribute, they can confiscate your car. It's on the books. Right? Them's the laws. If you don't like it, then, go write your representative and change the law. Just tell it to the judge. You don't like it, tell it to the judge. Fuck you. It's a fucking Budweiser. I can't have a fucking a case of Budweiser. You think I'm having a party? Yeah, I am having a fucking party. I can't have a party. I can't have, some friends over and share some beers. Fuck you. So, prohibition is stupid. It hasn't worked. You think you've stopped people in Metcalfe County from drinking? We're moonshiners. for God's sake, it's what we do. No, you haven't stopped Metcalfe County from drinking. All you did was made it inconvenient for them, so they got to drive, to the next county that isn't a dry county. Clinton County is a dry county, so they have to go somewhere else. But I guarantee you there's a county somewhere that Metcalfe County could go to get their alcohol. And so it's just, that's one step. Legalize alcohol, my God. And I think legalizing cannabis would be a better step. But if you're still working working the issues of alcohol out, I just don't know how, where are you at? You're probably pretty far behind on gay marriage too. You're probably, you're probably just repeating all the Republican stuff, right? Right to work, 1%, corporations, no global warming. Instead of relying on sort of, Bronze Age ignorance, instead of looking at Bronze Age ignorance, let's check out the Enlightenment. Let's check out science. Let's check out, what has worked, right? If there's evidence that has worked, let's keep it going. Metcalfe County was founded in 1860. Was 1 year before the Civil War. I'm going to do some news pieces here in a second. Metcalfe, he was a governor, so they named him governor in 1828 to 1832. His name is Thomas Metcalfe. So that's who Metcalfe County is named after. He was also known as the Stone Hammer. He was a stone mason. So he worked with bricks and built homes. He helped construct the Greene County Courthouse, known as the oldest courthouse in Kentucky. Later, political opponents would mock his trade, calling him the Old Stone Hammer. I like that better. The Old Stone Hammer. So Thomas Metcalfe was the Old Stone Hammer. And they're mocking him, saying that he's just a regular guy. Fuck him. He's like, on the bottom of the list of, he needs to be an aristocrat, like one of us, like Henry Clay. These are not Daniel Boone types anymore. These are, your Henry Clay types. He's the 10th governor of Kentucky, 1828 to 1832. So that's, that's way before the Civil War, but way after the Revolutionary War. There's something fascinating. He got some roads connected Shelbyville to Louisville and the canal on the falls of the Ohio. When President Andrew Jackson vetoed funds to construct a turnpike connecting Maysville and Lexington, Metcalfe built it anyways, paying for it entirely with state funds. So that is amazing. Henry Clay and Andrew Jackson were beefing. Andrew Jackson said, no, I will not build that road for you. And Metcalfe was like, fuck you, we're going to build the road ourselves anyways. We don't need no federal dollars. We're fucking Kentucky. We can make the money ourselves. And I was itching a second ago. I was just thinking about the perception. So, John J. Crittenden in the U.S. Senate in 1848 is a sentence in front of my face right now. I've just started to read. He died of cholera. His governorship was, it was pretty remarkable, actually. He disliked Metcalfe, not only due to his party affiliation, but also because of his occupation as a stonemason. He believed it was too low of a calling for a governor. That's awesome. I like Thomas Metcalfe even more. So he's like an everyman, a regular. He's a stonemason, so he's the one building the fucking houses. You're building houses for people to live. The economic unit. Family, they love, that's where they, that's where all their memories are. That's where their Christmases are. In between he's the one that's building this. He's building the foundation for Kentucky, for the civilization of America. And that's not good enough for Mr. Joseph Desha. Oh, sorry, Desha, And then Metcalfe, he said, somebody was like, well, they disagree with your views. It's like, well, they could say what they like about my views, but the first man that dares to attack my character, I will cleave his skull with my stone hammer as I would cleave a rock. So that's as a word of this remark spread, Metcalfe was given the nickname Old Stone Hammer, despite his threats to remain in the governor's mansion until the legislature convened. Desha respected the will of the people and left the residence on September 2nd, 1828. Thomas Metcalfe opposed the spoil system, the doctrine of nullification. I am opposed to spoil system, but I'm in favor of nullification for the Patriot Act, for the NSA, for any of the federal programs that are not protecting and helping us. Not for Obamacare. We need Obamacare in Kentucky, and I think it's criminal to not have Obamacare. We can afford it. Why are we going to have Wilty Scott death panels kicking, old Wilty Scott? You're going to give him the power to say who lives and who dies, right? He gets to be that German Nazi, right? That old man at the death camp. So, actually, I got a whole bunch more about Metcalfe County. I got some news pieces coming up. I've talked a little bit about his, who they were named after. The road is now a portion of U.S. Route 68. So he went ahead and built the turnpike connecting to Maysville and Lexington today. Lexington and Maysville is connected today because of Thomas Metcalfe. And that's who the Metcalfe County is named after. And Wisdom, Kentucky, the name Wisdom was submitted in honor of Henry Wisdom, the first superintendent of schools for Metcalfe County. The post office was approved, and Wisdom officially became a community. So that's just a guy's name, but Wisdom. I mean, you want to go live at Wisdom? Where do you live, Wisdom? Oh, I'm going to go to Wisdom. I'm going to go get some wisdom. I don't know. Wisdom is okay. Summer Shade. This is beautiful, right? It's kind of like Hillside Valley, Summer Shade, Sunrise. You don't really think of them, but then when they're good names. Sunrise Incorporated, Summer Shade LLC, right? Any of these, they're actually unincorporated communities. So I'm not sure. We don't have a post office here. I don't know if Hudson is a incorporated or it's probably not. It's probably an unincorporated community too. We should incorporate ourselves. I wonder what that takes. What does it take to incorporate a city? Anyways, so Dale Hollow Lake area, State 90 connecting Glasgow to the Dale Hollow Lake area, right? Southern Kentucky. It's Metcalfe County, Summer Shade. The rural-dominated area is home to the Kingsford Charcoal Factory. The plant is the largest briquette factory in the world. So if you have ever cooked up some hamburger and hot dogs and you had to get some charcoal and you bought some Kingsford Charcoal Factory, we're the largest briquette factory, so there's a good chance that it actually came out of Kentucky. I'm familiar with Kingsford. I don't know. There's not that many, I guess, charcoal companies. But it's Kingsford is one of the companies that's in Metcalfe County. There's another company, too, that's in Metcalfe County that's pretty big. Carhartt, like the jacket. There's a sewing plant in Edmonton, a sewing facility. There's a cutting facility in Madisonville, and then there's a distribution center in Hanson and a supply chain operations center and sewing facility in Irvine. Now, I don't know where Carhartt's headquarters are, but if their headquarters aren't in Kentucky, this flat out just says, this is Madisonville. This is April 23, 2015. So this is 2 days ago. This report came out 2 days ago. Just about recognized for earning the Governor's Safety and Health Award. So congratulations, the Health and Safety Award, right? They haven't lost time in its incident in going to 2006. That's actually is remarkable. For 9 years, they've had no accidents. So congratulations, Carhartt, right? Madisonville for getting the Governor's Award. But if you're fucking sweatshopping us and minimum waging us and, going to have a triangle shirtwaist factory fire that totally fucks up our lives, I think that would be some bullshit. And we do need a strong labor movement. I don't know why labor hasn't been exciting and why labor hasn't been doing its thing. Because, traditionally that's how we got all freedoms. And you might not, think that you directly benefit from unions, but you do. Middle class, weekends. But the biggest thing with unions is when they lobby, the legislature for their union members, they're also lobbying for generally the 99% of the people too. So I went a little bit farther, but that's okay. Carhartt is Carhartt's got as a corporation that's in Metcalfe, and so is Kingsford briquettes charcoal for your grill. If you want some grill, if you want some fine fire grilled steak, and buy some Kingsford charcoal. You can use that for your commercial, free of charge. You can keep it. So yeah, it's April 25th, 2015, 7:27 in the morning. Peace, Kentucky.